Good morning, doctor. My name is Dr. Jun, metric number 298663. Today, I will brief through about the executive summary, which include three major corporate scandals, which is Wellcard, Olympus, and Enron. Each case highlights his serious ethical failures and government breakdowns. In Germany, Wellcard faked 1.9 billion in assets, exposing weak financial oversight and auditing by S and Young. In Japan, Olympus hit 1.7 billion in losses for over a decade, revealing a toxic corporate culture that punished whistleblowers. And in the US, Enron used accounting tricks to hide debt and inflate profit, leading to its collapse and the creation of the subprime Olex. These scandals show the global impact of unethical leadership and poor regulation. They remind us why transparency, accountability, and strong ethical standards are critical to corporate success and public trust.
Good evening, my name is Chua Jun, matrix number 299974, and I will be explaining the issue summary. We have four issues in total, which the first one is Malaysia's 1MDB scandal, which involves misappropriation of over 4.5 billion in public funds. It involves abuse of political power by top government officials such as Tun Sri Najib, and also involves the use of offshore shell companies to hide transactions. This type of lack of transparency and regulatory oversight have caused the betrayal of public trust and misuse of national development funds. The second one is the Japan's Olympus case, which involves concealed 1.7 billion US dollars in investment losses over decades. They cover it by use of mergers and acquisitions in order to hide financial losses. The dismissal of CEO whistleblower is because the CEO exposed the fraud, which is being dismissed by the board of directors due to strong corporate hierarchy, which discourage internal criticism. This type of failure of auditors and board to act responsibly according to the ethical concept is very, very intimidating. The third one is the Germany's Wirecard scandal, which involves fabricated 1.9 billion pounds in cash balances that did not exist. It involves deceptive accounting and fake transactions. Germany's ignored whistleblower warning and media investigation have caused external auditors fail to detect the fraud for years, which caused market manipulation and investor deception. And finally, our last issue is US Enron scandal, which is use special purpose entities SPEs to hide massive debt by using manipulated financial statement to inflate stock prices and to cause conflict of interest between Enron and its auditor Arthur Anderson. This action alone has caused thousands of employees lost jobs and retirement savings, and also the regulatory gaps and a toxic corporate culture of profit, pure greed have caused this scandal to happen without considering the interests of the people. Now I will be talking about the discussion. The first case study is on Malaysia's 1MDB scandal. First, I will be explaining about the background, and then the ethical issue, and then the ethical concept. First, on the background, 1MDB was a Malaysian government-owned investment fund established in 2009. It was founded to promote economic development through global partnerships and strategic investments. It is managed by Ministry of Finance and closely linked to the previous Prime Minister Najib Razak. In this case, over 4.5 billion US dollars was allegedly misappropriated through fraudulent transactions and offshore accounts. Basically, they are money laundering through different ways, and the funds were used for luxury purchases, political financing, and personal enrichment such as real estate, artwork, films such as The Wolf of Wall Street. And it was being exposed by international investigations and media, and it triggered global probes, especially when this scandal was being exposed because it was too big of an amount of money being used in this development for this scandal. And Najib Razak was convicted in 2020 and has been sentenced to 12 years in prison for corruption and money laundering. So in this case, the ethical issues that are being found have three. Number one is abuse of power. So the misuse of political authority for personal gain to buy jewelry and for personal benefit is no good for a leader. This is because the leader needs to think for its people, not for itself. The second one is lack of transparency. The financial accounts and the concealment of financial transactions have caused the misuse of public funds. This has caused the 1MDB to be such a big amount of money being used as such. And lastly, the third one, the breach of trust. The betrayal of public confidence and misuse of national resources is a big no-no for a leader, especially if a leader wants to make a country great again. This is definitely not a wise action to take for personal benefits. So, after the ethical issues, the ethical concepts that we could use in this case study also have three. The first one is by deontology, which is Kantian ethics. The first one involves violated moral duties of honesty, integrity, and public service, which is being demonstrated by our by then Prime Minister Tun Sri Najib Razak. Second one is utilitarianism, which has caused widespread harm to society for the benefit of a few individuals, which is not good because in the end, the society is about the people, not about the leaders. And finally, the third one is the virtue ethics. And virtue ethics demonstrated vices like greed and dishonesty instead of moral character. This means that greed and dishonesty should be curbed and not being implemented in leaders, especially if they want to lead Malaysia to a better future.
Hello everyone, my name is Lim Hong, matrix number 298896. Now I'm going to talk about the case study on Japan Olympus case. So, in 2011, Olympus Corporation, a Japanese optical and imaging company, admitted to hiding over 1.7 billion in losses for decades through fraudulent accounting and complex financial schemes involving merge and acquisitions. The schemes was exposed by ex-CEO Michael Woodford, a British executive who was get fired after questioning suspicious transaction. The scandal highlight the serious governance issue in Japanese corporate culture, which is particularly the deference in authority and resistance to external scrutiny. Eventually, several executives were arrested and Olympus' market value plummeted. Now talk about the ethical issue involved, consumers of losses. Olympus falsified financial record to hide losses dating back to the 1990s. Whistleblower retaliation. The CEO who tried to expose the fraud was dismissed and discouraging the transparency. The next one, cultural barrier. The tradition, corporate culture in Japanese discourage questioning authority or speaking out. And moving to the next one also, the investor misinformation. Stakeholders were misled about the company financial health. Now talk about the application of ethical theory. The first one, visual ethics. Olympus executives failed to embody virtual like transparency, honesty, and accountability. Their concern for personal and company reputation over ethical behavior demonstrates moral weakness. Deontology, the deliberate falsification of documents is inherently unethical as it violates duties and truth-telling and fair disclosure. The next one, Rawls justice theory. The consumers of loss and retaliation against whistleblowers violated principle of fairness. Shareholders and employees were denied equal access to truthful financial information. The next one, cultural ethical relativism versus the universal ethics. While Japanese corporate norms may discourage confrontation, ethical principles such as honesty and integrity are universal. Olympus' justification of its action based on cultural practice fell under global ethical standards.
Good morning, doctor. My name is Jun, metric number 2986663. Today, I will share about the overview of the Wirecard scandal, one of the biggest corporate fraud in Germany's history. Wirecard AG was a German payment processing company founded in 1999 and headquartered near Munich. It grew rapidly, gaining a strong reputation as a top fintech firm and even joining Germany's DAX 30 index in 2018. However, in 2019, the Financial Times exposed allegations of fake transactions and accounting fraud. In June 2020, Wirecard admitted that 1.9 billion supposedly held in accounts in the Philippines did not exist. This shocking revelation led to the company filing for insolvency on June 25, 2020. Several serious ethical issues were involved. Wirecard's exclusive fabricated financial records, creating fake revenue and misleading investors. Despite many warning signs, auditors and regulators failed to act responsibly. The company also had a toxic culture of secrecy where whistleblowers were ignored and employees were discouraged from speaking out. For the ethical concept that can be applied is, for the utilitarian view, the fraud helped a few executives but caused major harm to investors, employees, and the public. According to deontology, Wirecard broke its moral duty to tell the truth and be transparent. In terms of virtual ethics, the scandal showed a lack of integrity and ethical leadership. Lastly, under the stakeholder theory, Wirecard's action ignored the interests of key stakeholders like employees, investors, and regulators.
My name is LEONG and my matrix number is 297981. Now I will presenting the case study on United States Enron scandal. Enron Corporation, founded in 1985 in Houston, Texas, was once a leading energy company known for innovation in energy trading. However, behind its success was a network of unethical practice. Enron used special purpose entities and mark-to-market accounting to hide debt and inflate profits, misleading investors, regulators, and employees. In 2001, the truth was revealed and Enron declared bankruptcy. Thousands of employees lost their jobs and retirement savings, and billions in shareholder value were destroyed. Its auditing firm, Arthur Andersen, was also implicated for helping cover up the fraud and was later dissolved. In response, the US government passes the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 to strengthen corporate accountability and financial reporting standards. The ethical issues in this case include fraudulent accounting, insider trading, and a conflict of interest between Enron and the Arthur Andersens. Executives encourage employees to invest in company stock while secretly selling their own shares. Analyzed through ethical theories, Enron's actions were clearly wrong. Deontology condemns the dishonesty and violation of duty. Utilitarianism shows the harm causes to thousands outweigh any benefit. Virtual ethics reveal a lack of integrity and justice in leadership. And social contract theory emphasizes the betrayal of public trust and the damage to institutional credibility. In conclusion, the Enron scandal is a powerful reminder that without ethical leadership and accountability, even the most successful company can collapse. Business must prioritize transparency, trust, and integrity to prevent such disaster in the future.
Now, move to the conclusions. The scandal of 1MDB, Olympus, Wirecard, and Enron reveal how unethical leaderships and a lack of transparency can destroy any corporation, even the major one. Each case involved deliberate deceptions, such as falsifying records, hiding losses, or misusing funds for personal or political gain. Ethical theory analysis highlight the absence of integrity, fairness, and accountability while showing violations of duties and justice. These cases underline the need of the strong governance, universal ethical standards, and protection for whistleblowers to prevent future misconduct and restore trust.
Now I will share the key ethical lessons from 4 major global corporate scandals, which is 1MDB, Olympus, Wirecard, and Enron. Each of these cases involves serious misconduct, like falsifying financial records and hiding debts, all driven by greed and the desire for short-term success. These actions violate core ethical values such as honesty, integrity, and transparency. What made things worse was the failure of corporate governance. There were weak internal controls, poor oversight by boards, and no proper protection for whistleblowers. Leaders ignore ethical responsibilities, and no one stepped in to stop the wrongdoing. The scandals remind us that ethics must guide every decision. Using moral principles like utilitarianism and deontology can help prevent such failures. Importantly, laws alone are not enough. Organizations need to ethical leadership, open communication, and a strong ethical culture. In the end, these cases teach us one powerful lesson: integrity should never be sacrificed for profit. Thank you.